Today we are talking about the devil. The devil is can be someone in our life that is of course negative and toxic, but in most of the cases is more psychological than literal. And so it's all our attachments, addictions, unconscious patterns, all those things that are not good for us, but somehow we keep choosing them anyway. It can be jealousy, anger, possessiveness, resentment, even violence. It can also be things like substances, unhealthy food, an unhealthy relationship, or toxic relationship, an unhealthy environment at work, or also family. And can also be our way of thinking, our negative thinking. And this card this energy is so interesting because it happens mostly in the unconscious mind. Most of the time, we don't consciously choose, for example, to be jealous, to be manipulative or self destructive. Much of the time, we don't really know we're doing it, and it's really unconscious, and we call it the shadow. So, the shadow is made of all those parts of ourselves that we reject, we hide, we judge, we are ashamed of. Those parts don't disappear. When we try to hide them, they don't disappear just because we ignore them or reject them. They remain there, and eventually they find their way to express themselves, and in most of the cases is in a destructive way, for us, but also for the people around us. So that's why shadow work isn't about getting rid of those parts. The first work in the shadow, when we work on the shadow, the first thing we do is bringing these things to light, acknowledging them, understanding the why, the how, and accepting them, accepting why they're there, and learning healthier way to express them, because in most of the cases we can't get rid of our shadow is there, and it's really hard to get rid of it, but we can use better way to express it. What else? Again, as I told you, the devil energy can also be that voice in our mind that keep saying that we're not enough, that nobody will ever love us, that we will never change, that life is unfair, that we are powerless, right? And so we become so attached to those stories in our minds that we don't even question them anymore. We identify with them. They become part of our identity. The devil creates an incredible amount of confusion because of that, because it makes us believe those stories are true, even if they aren't. And in most of the cases, they aren't. One of the most fascinating things about the devil energy is that the energy or the people, uh, bringing this energy in your life, um, can be, yes, it can be very ambivalent. It can be frightening that it's evil, right away, it's toxic, it's not healthy, but it can also be incredibly attractive and charming. There is a card here I'm showing you later that tells you, that explains you very well how charming and attractive can be the devil energy. And so that's very difficult sometimes to recognize it, because often the devil energy doesn't show up looking dangerous. It often presents itself as something that will comfort us, will protect us, or make us feel safe, right? It's that voice in our mind or someone else telling us, this will make you feel safe. You need to do this, or just one more time and that's it, right? And that voice keep repeating, and we can't um, understand that that voice is toxic, right? It's not good for us. It's not healthy for us. This card also can also show up very strongly in relationships. Can represent being intensely attracted to someone in a way that becomes unhealthy and consuming. Sometimes the chemistry is so powerful that we mistake lust for love. Sometimes we attach too much to ourselves to someone that we confuse that emotional dependency with connection. So it can point to relationship that where attachment styles are running the show instead of two emotional healthy people choosing each other. So there can be codependency, obsession, avoidance, possessiveness, or simply a relationship where the attraction is incredibly hot but very, very unhealthy. What else? Oh, the devil energy can also appear when we become too materialist, where someone around us is too materialist. So we start believing that if we just make more money, buy more things, become more successful, or receive more validation, then we'll finally feel enough. But the external things can never feel an internal happiness. So they might distract us for a little while, but they don't solve the real issue. Um, Another aspect of this card that I think is really important is the victim mindset. It's when we are caught in devil energy and we start pointing the finger. We see everything that everyone else has done to us, and sometimes things are absolutely real. You know, we are hurt and someone did something bad to us, but the devil also invite us to ask a difficult question: am I completely without responsibility? Is there anything I keep repeating that can be also unhealthy? Is there anything I need to learn from this person, from this situation? Sometimes identifying only as the victim can become another unconscious pattern. It can prevent us from seeing where our own choices, fears, or attachments are keeping us stuck or in a toxic cycle. One of the healthiest work we can do with the devil energy is actually to bring this energy a little bit more in the light. But make this energy lighter, to use humor, to stop taking ourselves always so seriously, to laugh at our own patterns instead of feeling ashamed about them. Because shame keeps the shadow hidden. Instead, curiosity and openness brings it into the light. And so when we find ourselves again in the same pattern, we can just laugh a little bit and say, there I go again, right? Here we are again doing the same thing again and again, but with kindness and fun, without judgment. So we can create in that way space for change. I am a supporter of humor and irony, and I make fun of myself a lot. And I think it's the best way to explore healing, to heal, laughing and humor. What else? Mm. Oh, yeah. I told you that the devil energy is like having these negative feelings, right? Right? Jealousy, anger, but also other kind of feelings like grief, anxiety, fear, and loneliness can become part of the devil energy if to suppress them we start using substances or external thing to avoid those feelings. These external things can be alcohol or other substances like drugs, but can be also work, can be, overworking, work alcoholic, can be shopping, can be being too much on social media, can be, look for another relationship, look for, also sex addiction. There are all, can be everything we use to suppress feelings, can be part of the devil energy. Because we're trying to escape those feelings instead allowing ourselves to feel fully the experience and to understand why they are there. And ironically, the more we avoid those emotions, the bigger they become. Sometimes we build an entire life around avoiding a feeling like fear or like loneliness that if we actually allowed ourselves to sit with it, wouldn't be nearly as overwhelming as we imagine. So we make a negative feeling, not a negative feeling, but a heavy feeling and heavy emotion bigger than it is because we avoid it, because we don't want to look at it. What else? Oh, for me, it's very important, and this card, you can connect with this card with strength energy. Strength is about the animal instinct in us, the primal instinct that we don't want to kill. So, the goal when we work on the devil energy, on our addictions, on our patterns, is not to destroy our primal instinctive part. That is a part of ourselves that is important. The goal is to know it, to understand it, and to integrate this part in our lives, like I told you earlier. Because when we stop rejecting those parts of us, they stop controlling us from the shadow. So they show up like suddenly to jeopardize the life. Instead, when they are in the light, when we know they're there and we know how to control them, it's much easier. Sometimes when I go in a negative mindset, when I see myself going in a pattern that it's not healthy, I stop and I'm able to understand that I am going there, with irony or not. You tell Julia, what are you doing? Why you are doing this again? So I'm very aware of some of my shadow side, maybe not all of it, but the part of it I'm aware of. I stop for a moment, I see myself doing it, and I tell myself, what are you doing? Why you're doing this again, right? So that's really important. Because in the end, the devil is always about choice. Every day we choose whether we continue repeating unconscious patterns or bring them into awareness. We choose whether we continue feeding the stories that keep us trapped or begin questioning them. We choose whether we use this powerful energy to destroy ourselves and our relationships, or to build a life that is more conscious, more authentic, and more free. Because devil energy can be good, can be, we can use anger to create, to change our lives. If we use anger in the right way, we can choose loneliness to meditate on ourselves and to find more time for the things we love, right? We can transform this feeling and make this feeling like a little bit temperance, right? This card and temperance can mean bringing a negative feeling, a shadow feeling, and make it becoming something more helpful and useful, like, what else? Again, it is tempting. Look at this card, for example. This is gonna work a little bit on the imaginary. Look at this card. It's tempting. This is like the I don't remember the light seer's tarot. I have a bad memory. Light seer's tarot, and she did a great job, because I mean it's not my kind of guy. I don't like this kind of like beauty, but it is attractive. So it is tempting, but we can choose. if we are not aware, of course, we cannot choose when we are, these feelings that just arise and they're there and we express them in the worst way. But then when we are aware, even if they are attractive and tempting, we are able to release the chain. Look at this other image, right? This is the devil energy, and these are the people chained to this energy. So when you become aware of your attachment, of all your you are able to release the chain and to be free, to live a free life. It doesn't matter, it doesn't mean that you don't have this attachment anymore or this shadow side. It means that you are aware they're there and you can work on releasing them little by little. And if you cannot release them because they are part of us, I don't know why, but some things they stay there because are part maybe of our personality. You can say, okay, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna hurt these people because I feel fearful. I'm not gonna disrespect this person because I'm afraid that I am hurt from, whatever, right? It's just like so many things can be. But then this one is from the well unknown, and I love the fire. It's very hard being in the devil energy. We think we are powerful sometimes when we are in the devil energy because you know we we feel strong. We feel like no one can touch us. For example, if someone with addictions use drugs, in that moment they feel at ease, they feel amazing, right, when they drink alcohol or whatever. But look at the fire in the feet. That's how you walk your life when you have this kind of devil energy in you or around you. You walk on the fire all the time, and it's not comfortable. It is painful. This is another tarot card from the Little Prince tarot deck. And if you read the book. It's just a nice book. It's just beautiful. The Little Prince meets all these a character during the trip, and each one of these character has a little bit an attachment, an addiction, a toxic behavior. And so in the devil energy, the artist put all the character together. And it's if you read the book, you can there is, I think, one character that is workaholic, the other one with full of ego and stuff like that. It's really interesting, and I like this imagery for the devil energy, which if you didn't read the book, you wouldn't understand. So this is useful only if you read the book. Read the book. I've said this so many times. Okay, I am done. I'm gonna do tarot reading for the devil energy to work a little bit on attachments, on addictions or toxic patterns. It's gonna be good if you're stuck in a loop of toxicity, to find a little bit of ease and maybe a way out from that loop. And that's it.